What's the best way for soccer players to stay active during their time off? That's what we're going to talk about on this week's Soccer Fitness video blog. Hello, I'm Richard Bucciarelli and it's great to be back. And while I wish it were under different circumstances, staying home to save lives has given me the time that I needed to get the blog going again. I'd like to start by giving a shout out to all our subscribers. We recently reached the 1,000 sub mark, and while that's small time for the internet, that tells me that people still care about soccer and about soccer fitness, and it gives me and my team the motivation that we need to continue to provide more and better information. So the topic that we're going to discuss today is also the subject of my article that was published last week, and that is the importance of soccer players performing regular high-intensity interval training, or HIIT training, in order to maintain their aerobic fitness during the time off caused by the pandemic. Why is maintaining aerobic fitness so important? Because detraining, or a loss of aerobic fitness caused by inactivity, can happen with as little as 5 to 10 days off of training. Building aerobic fitness, on the other hand, can take up to 8 to 12 weeks of hard training. So if you lose your aerobic fitness in March or April, even if you start training right away, you won't get it back until August at the earliest, and for a soccer player that means almost the end of the 2020 outdoor season. So from January until around the middle of March, most youth soccer players should have built up a decent level of aerobic fitness from their regular training and game schedule, which would have included up to 3, 4, maybe even 5 training sessions per week, plus 1 or 2 games every week. Since that time, players have been home from school, all soccer activities have been canceled, and for the most part, the only thing that clubs or academies have done in order to try to keep players active is to assign them different types of technical exercises, for example, doing keep-ups or passing the ball against the wall as soccer homework. And while these exercises are great for players to maintain their technical skill, they really aren't going to do anything to build or maintain aerobic fitness, and the reason is that these exercises cannot be done at the intensity that's required in order to challenge the aerobic system. So what do soccer players need to do in order to maintain their aerobic fitness? They need to run, but not just any running. The type of running training that soccer players need in order to maintain their aerobic fitness is high-intensity interval training, or HIIT training. HIIT training involves performing repeated bouts of fast runs or sprints, high-intensity intervals, that can last anywhere from a few seconds up to a couple of minutes. In between those high-intensity intervals, there need to be rest periods that are typically either the same length as the work period or a little bit longer. The reason that HIIT training is so effective in improving and maintaining soccer players' aerobic fitness is because the activity pattern that's used in HIIT training is the same type of activity that you see in soccer. For example, you can imagine that in a soccer game, a player will do several bouts of high-intensity runs or sprints with rest in between each one. That's the activity pattern of soccer, and of course it's the same type of activity pattern that you see with HIIT training. Thus, HIIT training is the best way to maintain soccer players' endurance because it looks the most like the type of running that you actually do when you play soccer. There's a link to the article that I published in the video description below, and in that article I provided a simple, easy to follow 3 days per week high-intensity interval training program that soccer players can follow during their time off. What we're going to do now is put that program up on the screen for you to have a look at. As you can see, Each of the 3 days has some type of fast run or sprint, the high intensity interval, interspersed with a rest period. The intensity or running speed of the high intensity intervals that are prescribed in these workouts are prescribed at a percentage. And that percentage is relative to your individual maximum intensity. So you can think of maximum intensity as being the fastest that you can possibly run at, and that's 100%. So any other run that's prescribed at a percentage lower than 100 is a little bit lower than what your maximum percentage is. To explain this concept in a bit more detail, let's have a closer look at workout number 1. As you can see, the runs in workout number 1 are prescribed to be done at 80%. What that means is, if 100% is a sprint, as fast as you can run, then 80% is literally 80% of how fast that 100% sprint is. It's still a very high intensity, but in this particular workout, it's something that you could maintain for 4 minutes, which is the length of the high intensity interval. These type of HIIT training sessions are not only the best way for soccer players to maintain and even improve their aerobic fitness during this time off, they're also super convenient because they can be done in a very short amount of time. Again, as an example, all 3 of the workouts prescribed in my article can be completed from start to finish in less than 30 minutes, and that includes a warm-up. So they're ideal for this time off for soccer players as well as for any other time throughout the year. The one thing to keep in mind about these workouts in the article, however, is that they are subjective in a sense that they don't really take into account any soccer player's unique or specific strengths and abilities. If you're looking for something a little bit more specific and customized to you, we do have our Soccer Fitness Goals mobile fitness app, which can be downloaded using a link provided in the video description. And that app provides a much more customized endurance program by tailoring the intensity and the prescription of the workouts based on the results of a fitness test that you complete in the app itself. So if you are looking for something that's a little more customized than what you see in the article, I would recommend you download the Soccer Fitness Goals mobile fitness app and check out the endurance programs in the app. There's 3 difficulty levels ranging from beginner to world class, so there's truly something for everyone there. So I'd like to wrap things up this week by making 2 things very clear. First, I've got nothing against doing technical exercises as soccer homework. As I mentioned before, these exercises are great for players to maintain their technical skills and make sure that they stay sharp for when training resumes after the pandemic. But of course, they're not going to do anything to build or improve aerobic fitness because they just can't be performed at the intensity required. Second, I've been as big a proponent as anybody about using soccer, including soccer activities and small-sided games in training in order to build and improve aerobic fitness for soccer players. I even teach courses about it. The problem is that right now, during the pandemic, playing soccer of any kind with teammates and opponents is just not possible. Players need to self-isolate, and so the only possible way for them to train their aerobic system during this time period is for them to run. Playing soccer is the best way for soccer players to maintain their aerobic fitness, but right now, running and specifically high-intensity interval training is the only way. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please click like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And as always, please feel free to share this video with anyone who you think may find it interesting. That's it for the blog this week. We'll see you next time, and until then, keep reaching your soccer fitness goals.